Well, happy St. Patrick's Day to the Cellercise family. Thank you for joining us this evening. Great to have your participation. Look forward to hearing any questions you might have. One of the things we've often used is why work out when you can play in. What Cellercise is all about is making something convenient, easy, efficient, safe. It's portable, but we want to make it fun. And Cellercise should be fun. It's not a workout. It's more of a play in. And sometimes we make things harder than they need to be. I've been doing this now for 35 plus years. My son has seen me. He has grown up. He'll be what, 17 in July? He's as tall as I am. And he knows this is what I do. And this has been absolutely amazing to me, to so many of you out there. So thank you for joining. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being a difference and making a difference in the lives of those people you care about. Tonight, we're going to go a little bit over some of the questions, some of the customer reviews, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about detox. If you have specific questions, please let me know. We've got some great questions that kind of lead into the detox program as well, and the lymphatic system and its benefits. So welcome. Let's start off reading some reviews. Okay, here we go. Guthrie writes, "Good afternoon, Dave. I've just finished my first year rebounding using your Mr. Rebounder app as my coach." That's what we designed it for. The Mr. Rebounder app is like a coach. And it's for those who are involved with physical therapy, trainers, aerobics instructors. You can create routines on the app. And what's exciting for us is we usually have a show on television, and then we turn the app on and we just pick a routine, and we'll ding in between the movements while we watch the show, and we're getting the benefits. So it's a convenient way to be motivated to pick a routine that's going to help you toward your goals and objectives. All right. While I was in good physical shape prior to rebounding, it was the extra type of full body workouts I needed. I am 68, in the best physical shape since high school. The same age I am. I am also just about at my high school weight. I have been focused on the advanced workouts for the entire year and love my 90 minutes of rebounding first thing every day, 5 days a week. Wow, fantastic, good for you. Thank you for your great app and the extra lessons on your monthly Facebook sessions. Keep on, attaches my points earned during my first year. I look forward to many more years to come. And here on the Mr. Rebounder app, you get partial fulfillment of each one of these jewels as you carry through to get to a trophy. He's got 5,143 total points, so good for you, Guthrie. Roy writes, "Have wanted to say this for years," 5 exclamation points. Here it goes. "I and my wife, of course, can't say enough about how fantastic the Cellerciser is for your entire body. Here is the other fantastic part that has always gone with it. It's the class act," he capitalizes many of these words, and phenomenal humbleness, caring, and amazing integrity of Dave Hall. You put the two together, and that's why the Cellerciser is one phenomenal, successful, and amazing product for your entire body." And he's got several claps. You know, Roy, I am honored, I am humbled. I know that this isn't my work. This work comes from a greater source. I've been guided and directed, the stories and the things I've been through to gain the knowledge that I've been able to gain and the experience that I've been able to experience so I can share it with you. What an honor for me to be able to work with you. So thank you very much, Roy. I appreciate that. And I give credit to the man who's guided and directed me in my life. Doris writes, "I love my Cellerciser. I'm 81 and use it twice a day." Wow. "I do a full body routine once a week when I don't go to the gym. Thanks." And thank you, Doris. Thanks for sharing. George writes, The Cellerciser works on you rather than any other way around. I've been using mine for 4.5 years, and it's a joy to use it daily. I like the way that George words that. The Cellerciser works on you. And that's kind of one of the things I like to say often when I lecture is, you don't have to work out. You play on it. Play on it. It automatically works on you. This is weight bearing on every cell in your entire body over 100 times a minute. You don't get that with typical exercise. Isis writes, just a little note to let you know after 1 year of bouncing, the excitement has still not eased off. I continuously look forward to bouncing and playing in daily using my good morning and sound sleep routine on my Mr. Rebounder app. Here are the ways Cellercise is part of our mental physical health. Number 1, smile. A couple of days ago, my son came home in an unhappy mood. I asked him before we meditate to try bouncing. I says, I just spoke to you today, I think. You sent this in. I really appreciate that. She was telling me about this. Before we meditate, to try bouncing first. I know when I bounce, I immediately smile, and that puts me in a better mood. So after changing the icon to the astronaut in the beginner circuit and bouncing for 5 minutes, he quickly forgot his sad face and was bouncing with his big smile. I admit that I do the same when I feel stressed. I bounce for 2 minutes and I think of something funny when smiling, and I end up laughing while bouncing. Number 1B. When my husband comes into the office to chat about something, I say, hold on, and I start doing the health bounce on the Cellerciser so I could see him eye to eye on every bounce. He's over 6 feet tall. So she's on the unit and is able to communicate with him. She was telling me about this earlier today. This also put a smile on his face as well as mine and makes our conversation happier. Digestion. I recently completed a liver cleanse at night to ensure my tonic was absorbed and lymph was moving. I would play in and bounce. Thank God I felt so good afterward. I slept soundly. Thank you for developing such an outstanding product that we can incorporate so easily into everyone's young or elder life. Stay awesome, Mr. Hall. And thank you so much for sharing that, Isis. She was a joy to speak with, and I just listened as she was sharing some of the differences Cellercise made in her life. And I asked her, I said, if you have a chance, I'm going to be talking tonight. I'd love you if you could write in some of these thoughts, and she did. So thank you very much. It makes a difference. Also, for anyone who wants to share experiences on the Cellerciser, if you'd like to share for other people, if you go to our website, Cellercise.com, and then you go to the review section, scroll down a little bit, you can type right there. And I'm sure that's exactly what she did. Yes, Justice.
Joanne says, do you have a book of testimonials? I get inspired by reading all these success stories.
Most of them are on our website, and Dalium is constantly putting more of them on our website. So if you go to our website, to our review page, it says review, click on review, you've got hundreds of testimonials that you can read, and you can even do a search. So if it's something specific that you're interested in hearing what other people's experience has been, you can do a search and see what they say. So thank you so much. Those are great customer reviews. All right. Patricia writes, is it safe to Cellercise after cataract surgery or glaucoma surgery? Patricia, if your doctor says it's okay to jog and be active, then Cellercise is going to be less, it's not jarring. It's not like running on the ground or even running on a treadmill. But check with your doctor as to when you can start those activities. But Cellercise eliminates the jar, pumps with the heart to improve circulation. You get all these benefits, but without tearing down the body to do it. Judith writes, "Hi Dave, just a random question. Might you consider t-shirts with your Cellercise logo on it?" Yes! Jenna, we need to get that done. Well, we got the shoes and slippers done. Everybody has been part of Facebook. For those of you who've written in, you'll be getting a call in the next couple days so you can order your Cellisoles early, and then we'll be putting it on the website too. But I'll make sure that everybody in our Facebook program and those people who have requested to be put on the list, so when they are available, we will reach out and let you know. So yes, I like that idea. I believe you did mention that a couple months ago. Yes, I would definitely purchase tees for my husband and me. I've been loving my Cellercise workouts for over 25 years, so I thank you for profusely for all that you do. I always tell friends and new people that I meet about Cellercise and its benefits. And now that my husband is also using it, life is even better, better, better! Exclamation point. Thank you, Judith. I appreciate those thoughts and comments. And yes, that is in the plan. And we pursued it a while back. I'll check with Jenna, who's taking more of an active role in the business, and see what if we have any updates on that. Shauna writes, "I saw this comment and was wondering if you could explain what you need to do before rebounding to reduce the risk of recirculating toxins. If your termini junction where the lymphatic empties into the bloodstream is blocked, then rebounding and moving will make all the toxins circulate but not be released. That is why you open unclog the termini and 6 other major lymph points before you open the tap, so to speak." Let's talk about that, Shauna, because I love the lymphatic system. And this might help clarify some of how this works. The lymphatic system is a circulatory system. Yes, it keeps us alive and healthy. It's critical. If it were to stop circulating for just 24 hours, we wouldn't be here. The lymphatic system can circulate more effectively and less effectively, determining how our conditions are, what kind of movements we're doing, whether we're sedentary or more active. And hold the thought justice for a second. Let me go through this. But the Cellerciser, think of the branches of an oak tree working their way backwards toward the trunk. So you've got these little branches that extend out there, and that's the lymphatic system begins in the lymphatic terminals. They're located in the toes, the fingertips, and other extremities of their body. These lymph vessels work their way toward the lymph nodes. That's where our biggest battles take place. That's where our biggest concentration of white blood cells are. So that if a foreign invader gets in there and the lymph nodes get swollen, you can be sure there's a battle going on. That's the job. That's what the lymph nodes are there to do, is to stop, destroy foreign invaders. And then the lymph system continues to work as a detox. So from the lymph nodes, they go to kind of like the branches of an oak tree, again, working their way backwards toward larger branches. They go to larger lymph vessels, and then toward the thoracic duct. That's your largest lymph vessel. Call that the trunk of the tree. It comes up the midsection here, and in through what's called the venous cava, through what's called the subclavian left vein, or the roots. And what she's talking about is that these roots can, if they're clogged, then the lymph system is not going to be circulating as well to get rid of the toxins. Well, if you take your fingers and you just kind of move it along the clavicle toward the center there, you can help release and move some of that lymph fluid that can, get a little more concentrated up there. You may be clearing your voice for a moment or something, but that helps move that. But the lymphatic system doesn't have a pump. It is dependent upon pressure changes. So when we're on this Cellerciser every day and we start to gently move up and down, we're going from weightless, weight, weightless, weight, weightless, weight. That pumping action is opening up the lymph system. There's enough resistance on the Cellerciser that it moves that lymphatic fluid through the lymph system so that we can help detoxify the body. Now the body will actually utilize some of what it still can. And what it can't, then it goes through the bloodstream, through the kidneys, the liver, and it's expelled through the body. So I don't believe I've ever heard of anything out there more effective for creating lymphatic circulation than the Cellerciser. And the reason being, you have to have resistance to move fluid. If it's too soft, it can just basically clog up. It's not moving effectively. We have to have resistance, release, resistance, release. That's what pumps. The lymphatic system itself, it is, when I get on it in the morning, for example, when you sleep at night, the fluid in the body has a tendency to find its natural equilibrium, and you may wake up a little puffiness around the eyes or in the face, and we get on the Cellerciser. I'll do this now within just a few minutes, that it moves. The lymph system is a vacuum. It holds a negative pressure. So movement causes suction. So as we're moving up and down, these one-way valves all over the body start sucking and pulling that fluid between the bones, the joints, and the tissue space of the body. We don't get nearly enough of that in our day-to-day activity. The Cellerciser is phenomenal for opening up lymphatics. If you have a cold, you have an allergy, and the immune system's allowed to balance, we get on the Cellerciser, bouncing up and down. For most of us, the symptoms just fade away. Now, when we get off the Cellerciser, they may come back until our immune system builds up. But while we're on the Cellerciser, we can clear our head, congestion, and help us breathe better and feel better. Yes, Justice.
Okay, we have a few questions from Laura. If we can't take our Cellerciser with us while away from our home for a week, how can you simulate rebounding on the Cellerciser as much as possible so we can still have some benefits?
So if you don't have your Cellerciser with you, how can you simulate the benefits? The Watuzis, the Zulus, the Aborigines, Indians, they would also bounce up and down like this. It's not as effective because it never releases gravity. And when you release gravity, you really open things up and then it moves again. But that being said, our calf muscle, as we're lifting our heels up and down, the calf muscle creates pumping. And the pumping can help move that circulation. We often think of a senior citizen as somebody stereotyped sitting in front of in a porch on a rocking chair, and they're pumping with their legs. Well, there's a reason for that, because we want to maintain good circulation in the legs. And the weakest area of circulation in the body is going to be in the lower extremities because it's the furthest area from the heart. But when we're Cellercising, everything is moving collectively together. And so movement of some sort is going to be helpful. But as far as simulating the Cellerciser, there's not a lot that's going to be the same. The reason for that is that you have resistance, which creates weight and pressure. And then you have release. And then you got the pressure. And then the release. And that's what's moving the lymph system. If you always have pressure and then you put more pressure, you're not going to get the same release. And that's one of the advantages that the Cellercise absolutely offers. Did you have another question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Laura says, I know you say we can strengthen all our muscles with the Cellerciser, but if we had small dumbbells as well as we bounce, won't that increase the benefits? And do you have routines that address strength training?
Yes, on our Mr. Rebounder app, we have routines that are just about building strength, and we have resistance movements. We've got a lot of movements in the app that talk about that. Shoulder, this one right here, for example, that's all upper body strength movements you're going to be going through, and you'll be doing chest, shoulder, arms, stomach. It's all in there. So it's all weight bearing. We just accentuate the resistance by the movements we do on the Cellerciser. And one of the advantages of that is that even if we're focusing, for example, if we're working on our bicep and we're doing our arm curls 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. You're pushing down and pulling up. Well, the arms are going to have a lot of resistance. You're putting more weight on it from the Cellerciser. The entire body is still involved. That's what's unique. I don't do dumbbells. The reason for that is that even if you're jumping with 2 pounds, jumping with 2 pounds is not, bouncing with 2 pounds is not 2 pounds when you're bouncing with it. It leverages the weight. And when you leverage 2 pounds, which could be 8 pounds in the back, I mean, it depends on how it's coming down and where it's held in the position. We've seen that people that have done that, they think it's great, and yeah, they'll get results. But they can also mess up the scapula area because it's leveraging the weight right in the middle of the shoulder blades. And that can take months to loosen, open up again, if it gets too tight. It can be harder on ligaments and tendons. So I do resistance movements, different types of movements while you're Cellercising, tightening and leveraging your body weight, altering the angle of your body in different positions as you're running, so that the whole body's involved, but we focus on different areas without tearing down to build up. Better than dumbbells on the Cellerciser, I believe, would be to do dumbbells off the Cellerciser and then Cellercise. They've already shown that that can give you fast results anyway, but at least you're not as likely to damage the ligaments and tendons. You are damaging your muscle fiber every time you do weightlifting because you're tearing down to build up. And you've heard me say in the past, we're the only species in the world that does it. It's more of a sport. Nothing wrong with it. It's manipulation of the body. We've learned how to manipulate it. But accumulatively over time, that can be damaging, causing muscles that are strong, but they've lost flexibility, timing, speed, coordination, and ligaments and tendons can be compromised. So they tell you to do it every other day because the body literally has to heal itself. So what's another one, Justice? Anything?
What are the Cellerciser soles?
Oh, Cellisoles. The Cellisoles. Okay. I don't have our new Cellisoles here. Our new Cellisoles are even better than these Cellisoles. But they're like a sock, very flexible. It's like a second skin on the foot. And you can go hiking in them, you go, walking. I go everywhere in them. I wear them all the time, don't I, Justice? Yeah, I do. Because they're so comfortable. It's like a second skin. But the advantage, and it took me a long time to find them. So we've got ours, which are actually even better than these. They've got a little more of a cushion. They feel really good under the foot. And they've got kind of a rubberized arch support around a sock that you can go in the water with, hiking or wear them pretty much anywhere. And they move with your foot. So they're not restricted by a shoe. So when you're Cellercising, or just in life in general, you've got over half of our bones are in our foot. And so as we're moving around, we want the bones, ligaments, and tendons to move to support our natural alignment. If we're wearing a shoe, which most people do on a day-to-day basis, the shoe is going to be more restrictive in its flexibility. And then when we try to do something that may be a little more strenuous, we can tear the fascia. We can irritate the foot or injure the foot because the foot didn't have enough flexibility. By wearing the Celli shoes over time, our feet will become more flexible, and that flexibility will translate into our normal day-to-day activities. So that's a good question. Yes, Justice?
Jean says, if I have a plantar fasciitis,
plantar fasciitis,
should I still use my Cellerciser?
Absolutely. Take a look at some of our customer reviews on our website. And I say absolutely, but I also have to say that's a medical condition. Check with your doctor or health practitioner, because I don't know your situation. But for most people that we've worked with that have plantar fasciitis, the fascia has been torn or or damaged. And the Cellerciser, with virtually everybody that we've worked with, within a month of Cellercising, that fascia has loosened up. It has become more flexible again. People that have had plantar fasciitis for years have written us beautiful reviews when they've talked to me, and they said, yes, I did what David had suggested, and yeah, it hurt, but then it went away. And so as we're doing these movements, rocking side to side, lifting our heels up and down, doing gentle twists, we're moving the foot. And the foot's going to be moving and flexing. And that tissue over time can become more flexible again. It's been phenomenal for a great many people. Yes, if you have it, you will probably feel it initially. Cellercise is not jarring. It's not hitting a hard surface. It's not tearing down. It's pumping circulation and helping to increase that flexibility. We want you to experience those results. So please read some of those reviews on plantar fasciitis on our customer review, and then you make the decision that you feel comfortable with. Yes, Justice. Thank you. These are great questions.
Laura says, just to clarify, so if I do the move recommended on the app, which I need to use, I have it. I'm going to get sufficient strength training then. I also do yoga, Pilates, and walking. I just want to make sure I include strength training since I have 70.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I'm going to share, well, I've shared this one before. Rachael, she's awesome. It's worth repeating. She's an influencer, and she looks at different products and gives a recommendation. She's got integrity, which I appreciate. And she uses the Cellerciser. Now, she's looked at other products. She chose to use the Cellerciser. She was on it for three months and called me up and said, David, this thing's incredible. I said, I know. She said, no, it really is incredible. I said, tell me. And she says, all I do on it is I'll turn on a show for 30 minutes and I just bounce up and down. I'm just watching the show for 30 minutes while I'm bouncing just like this. I'm losing weight. I'm losing inches. I've got muscles toning up, popping out. I feel great. I'm not doing anything. And I said, well, if you look at it like conventional exercise, if you were to target the body as muscle groups and body parts, like most exercise does, this doesn't. This targets the whole body as a whole. Even if you leverage weight, even if you're working on the waist and the hips and you're moving up and down, you're coming down, boom, that's a lot of weight here. But the whole body's still involved. So you're not just limiting it here. And that tightens, leverages the hips and the waist, by the way. As you're doing all these different exercises, if you treat the body as a part or a muscle, or even a muscle group, and you increase the weight to your bicep, say by 20 or 30%, and you do 100 arm curls a minute. So you're doing about 100 a minute arm curls, and you do it for 10 solid minutes. You think you're going to feel that? Of course. But now you got to do the other muscle and all the other muscles. Who's got time for that? On a Cellerciser, when you put more weight on a cell membrane over and over, the cell responds by fortifying its membrane with more protein. It doesn't care where the weight comes from. It doesn't care how sophisticated the equipment is. As you apply weight against that cell membrane over and over, the cell responds by fortifying its membrane with more protein. If you're lifting weight away from gravity, you're limiting the effect of the muscle doing the lifting. But if you're increasing the weight of gravity on every cell membrane, and you're doing it over 100 times a minute, and you're doing it not for 10 minutes, but for 30 minutes, which is what Rachael was doing, you've got every muscle, every cell flexing with weight on it. Muscles, bones, connective tissues, ligaments, tendons, skin, collagen, protein fibers, they don't care where the weight comes from, but your body does. Your body is adapting throughout the entire body. That's what makes it so efficient. I do 10 minutes a day. I've done it for over 25, 35 years now. And it's I used to wake up thinking, my body's changed and I'm only doing 10 minutes a day. I better get back on it because it was too easy. And I realized it's not the amount of time that matters. It's how you challenge the cells within the amount of time that really causes the cells to adapt, and that's what Cellercise does. Jess, is any other questions?
Yeah.
Oh.
Laura says, are the Cellerciser soles appropriate if I have bunions and weak ankles? I find it uncomfortable not using athletic shoes.
Okay, if you, rather than using athletic shoes on a Cellercise, if you have weak ankles, you can. It's not going to hurt the unit. My concern is that your foot is going to want to move and can't. And that can become more painful on the foot because the Cellerciser adapts to your movement better, I think, than the shoes will. But if you have ankle support, if you have a weak ankle, if you have weak knees, and you get on the Cellerciser and you have a good ankle support, you can pick them up on Amazon or Walmart or any number of places, and you use that ankle support while you're building your ankle, that is probably going to help you a lot faster than if you were just to try and use a shoe, because your foot's still going to have more flexibility. Yes, Justice.
Sherry says, hi Dave, I've been doing just 10 minutes
Sherry.
every day for 3 months now, and there is no weight loss or fat loss. I just heard you say Rachel was doing it 30 minutes. So is the 10 minutes not enough? Should I do more time? It's just been discouraging. Thank you so much.
Okay, so she's talking about doing it 10 minutes and not seeing the results she wants to see, and if she should do it longer period of time. As I mentioned a moment ago, the time doesn't matter to a cell. Cells don't have watches. They don't care about the time. What they care about is how you challenge them within the amount of time, more than they do about the time. So if you increase your intensity, I don't know what you're doing, but feel free to call me. Let's go over your program. I'm more than happy to talk about what you're looking to achieve and steps that we can take to achieve it. If you want to write me now, go ahead. But if we're going to, we want to burn calories, we want to use the bigger muscles. We want to do some aerobic activity. If you do, high intensity interval training with the Jamba run, you're going to lose weight. You have to. When you do the Jamba walk, and you're just standing on the Cellerciser, and you've spread the feet apart, and you're pushing down into the mat. As you push down into the mat, just pushing down. Most people in 20 seconds, they're going to feel that burn because these muscles are big. They're the big engines. They have no choice. If you turn those engines on, you have to feed them fuel. They're going to burn the fuel. If you do repetitions of it, then after it's burned off the most readily available energy source, the glucose and the sugars, and you're still putting in demand because you keep doing repetitions of it while you're watching a show, well, the body has to go after more fuel. It's going to find the white adipose tissue. So chances are if you're not seeing the changes, it may be the intensity is not enough, or we may need to do alterations, or you may be getting results, you're just not seeing them. Cellercise burns fuel and what we call genetic mapping. So if you want to burn it off in a certain area and you don't see it happening, it may be because it's burning off a different area first. And you don't even see it. It may be on the inside, maybe on the backside. We carry it in different areas of our body. Chest, back, stomach, waist, hips, thighs, all these different areas. We cannot target reduce where we want to lose the fat. Can't effectively do that. It's genetic mapping. Your body is genetically predisposed to going after one area first, and then another area, and then another area, and then it works through these areas. So hang in there. It works on virtually everybody. We're all made up the same way, and they adapt pretty much the same way too. But if you want to lose weight and you're not getting the results you want as well, don't eat a big meal at night. That's one of the keys. You can Cellercise at night, get the metabolism going, and unless it keeps you awake, for me it doesn't matter, but if you eat a big meal your body has one of two options. Okay, it's going to burn it, or it's going to store it. You eat a big meal in the morning, you're going to be burning it all day long. You eat a big meal at night, it's not going to be burning it. It's just going to store it because you're not doing anything to burn off the fuel. So eating a smaller meal at night and an earlier meal too will help in the weight loss performance. Far too often today in our culture we eat the big meals at night and then we go to bed and the body's going to put on, it's going to store that fuel. Yes, Justice.
She said, I've been doing side kicks, back kicks, high leg raises for 10 minutes every morning. That's what she's doing.
Okay, those are calisthenics. Those are working, that's not aerobic for burning off weight, but that's great. Kick-outs, front kick, side kick, back kicks, that's going to really strengthen the core. But those movements are not intense enough to burn off much weight. They're great for building up the muscles though. They'll tighten and strengthen the muscles. That's good. But for burning weight, Jamba walk, Jamba run, running in place, aerobic activities, even a little bit of the power breathing can increase metabolism because it gets more oxygen in the bloodstream. We need oxygen to burn fuel. So just several times a day, start off easy on this one because it's an exercise for the bronchial tubes in the lungs. It's going to open up my voice. You're going to hear the difference in my voice in a minute, which is nice because I should have done this at the beginning. I've been on the phone all day today. But it goes like this. It goes. Oh, that feels good. So that opens up the voice. It opens up the larynx. You can project better. And once you've experienced, you'll know what I'm talking about. That just feels great. But that movement also helps to oxygenate the body. The cells need oxygen to burn calories and utilize nutrients. Yes, Justice.
Jean says, can you just have bare feet when Cellercising?
Oh yeah, you can have bare feet, absolutely. I used to always do it in bare feet. The mat material, that's a unique mat material. This is not like a typical rebounder. That mat material is a polypropylene where every fiber has been put under nearly 200 tons of pressure. Extremely dense, you can't stretch it out. And then it's put into a 200-degree oil drum bath where it tinters or gives a beautiful finish underneath or on the mat so it feels good under your feet. Absolutely, you can go barefoot. You bet. Any other questions, Justice? Okay. Wow. Great, guys. Appreciate that. Okay. Saki writes, does Cellercise hold any special sales throughout the year? We recently bought a bifold and love it, planning to save for a trifold so my husband and I can both bounce at the same time and also be able to bring one for traveling. I'm trying to see if there's a sale coming up at some point, which will be a good time for us to get a second unit. Thank you. We don't have anything planned right now. I'll see what we can do. I'll give some thought to a holiday coming up or something, but nothing is planned at this point. So, but we do have our coupon available. If you use 2025, that'll take an additional $25 off the already reduced price right now on the Cellerciser. Okay. C. Baroglio writes, will the airlines allow the Cellercisers carry-on luggage for overhead compartment? I do it all the time. I take that with me in the I don't have my other, it's in my office. I take my unit in the office and I put it in the overhead all the time. Sometimes there's a little pushback and I tell them that I've measured it to fit in the overhead, which it does on most commercial airlines now. There's some that have changed compartment size. And so if that is the case, then usually I'll check it in at the bulkhead when I get up there and then just pick it up when I get off the plane. But normally I designed it so I can lift it up, and I just grab it and stick it up in the overhead compartment just like this, so that when I'm ready to leave, I grab the handle and I just pull it straight out and I'm ready to go. So, and then I can put something else on top of it. Okay, charm pake writes, how about a routine for lowering high blood pressure? Natural byproduct of Cellercise has been known to help lower elevated cholesterol and triglyceride levels and high blood pressure. And Dr. Morton Walker wrote that and published it in the Townsend Letter for Doctors and in his book, Jumping for Health as well. So when we're on a Cellerciser, a number of things happen. When the body becomes more acidic in our day-to-day activity and the blood cells get sticky, the blood pressure can go up because it's harder for the heart to pump sticky blood cells through the capillaries. Hardening of the arteries is the number one degenerative disease, and capillaries shrink, body functions get weaker, they don't work as well. We go through symptoms of the aging process. We want to avoid that. When we're moving up and down on a Cellerciser, the blood cells have the sodium-potassium pump. They're positively and negatively charged. They generate a field of energy around the outside of the cell membrane, just by me doing this. That field of energy that grows around the outside of the cell membrane causes the blood cells to separate from each other instead of being sticky. As we're moving up and down, as the one-way valves are opening and shutting, as I move up, they're shut. As I come down, they open. So as I move up and down, they're opening and closing. Well, as I move up, the movement, the G-force, the pressure on that top of that valve helps those capillaries to open up. As I come down, then everything flushes through. So the movement helps to open up circulatory channels, open up blood vessels, increase flexibility, and break up sticky blood cells. And when that happens, that's why exercise is so important. Cellercise, I just think, is more efficient, that it helps to open up that circulation and has been known to help lower high blood pressure. What do you suggest for squeaky springs? Nikki, I talk about that on our website in our care and maintenance section. And yes, our units, they are all built the same way. You've heard how squeaky this is, right? Not too bad, huh? This is less squeaky than bungee cord units. It's just, not everybody is honestly comparing them. But we put a couple drops of oil at both ends of each spring. So a couple drops here, couple drops here, and I just work my way all the way around. I usually do it outside so I don't get any oil that drips through. And then you can dab any extra oil, just don't get it on the spring, the coils, because it'll be really squeaky if you do that. And then the oil in the steel polishes itself. So over time it becomes really quiet. All right. Yes, Justice.
Sarah says, recommendations for elevated blood pressure. Should I just do the health bounce?
Yes, health bounce. Yeah. Gentle movement up and down. Now you're also pumping with the heart. So you're actually making it easier on the heart to move the circulation through the one-way valves in your circulatory system. If you have a heart condition, consult with your doctor or your cardiologist. Feel free to have them give me a call. I've worked with cardiologists. Cellercise is one of the #1 best ways to get exercise without putting unnecessary stress or distress on the heart. Yes, Justice.
Jackie says, can you tell me how much the units weigh approximately?
Sure.
And also the diameter.
How much they weigh and the diameter. Okay, so we've got our 42 pound or 41 pounder here. This is the Cellerciser with the balance bar, would be 41 pounds. Without the balance bar, it's 33 pounds. This is a trifle with the balance bar, is 46 pounds. And without the balance bar, it's about 37 pounds. So, because it's got the carrying case with the wheels and the pull-out handle. This one, of course, you don't, I mean, it's it's got wheels, so you don't have to carry it over your shoulder. And they're all 40 inches in diameter. One size fits all feet. We don't go wider. The wider you go, the less support you have in the middle. We want to avoid pronation. Pronation is when you come down and the center portion of it is causing your feet to turn in. And you're coming down. If you're coming down and your foot is pronating, you're leveraging the weight against the joint of your ankle and your knees and your hips. And that can lead to ankle problems, knee problems, back problems, as well as hip issues. And that's a notorious problem with some of the units that are out there. Okay, any other question?
Nope.
All right. Tired legs. I have a bit of lipedema, and legs get a little heavy sometimes. So ways to help, please. Again, weakest area of circulation is in the lower extremities. It's the furthest area from the heart. It's harder for the heart to pump that fluid through the one-way valves back up the circulatory system, back up toward the heart. So when we're on a Cellerciser, we're literally pumping with the heart. We're moving fluid. There's enough resistance that remember the contraction, expansion. So we're pumping that fluid through the millions of one-way valves over 100 times a minute. So we lift our heels up and down. As we lift our heels up and down, this is the movement. You want to know how powerful that is? Feel your trapezius muscles when you do it. Just feel those muscles. These are the muscles that help hold up our posture. Instead of pushing that weight away from gravity overhead, you're increasing the weight of gravity. And it's not just on these muscles. The G-force is created through our spring mechanism, allows the body to decelerate and accelerate without jarring. Well, the deceleration and acceleration to the body, that's just weight. The cells can't tell the difference between an increase of gravity, or if you step on a Tesla, you're in a Tesla and you step on the accelerator and you feel the weight pushing your body back, that's weight. The body, the cells respond to the weight. Come around the corner, hit the brake or the decelerator, you feel the weight of deceleration pushing your body forward toward the seat belt. That's all weight. You have three forces working on the body when you Cellerciser, not just one. You have the forces of acceleration as you move up, deceleration as you come down, and an increase of weight at the bottom of the bounce, increase of gravity. So you've got all these pumping actions that are moving that fluid through the body, making it easier on the body. And as we lift our heels up and down, the calf muscle flexes, creating more pressure from the lower extremities to help move that fluid through the one-way valves back up to the heart. Now, if you have a valve issues or you have a medical condition, consult with a doctor, because there could be other reasons for that too. The lymphatic system can be an issue. Digestion, elimination processes can be an issue. So if it's a health concern, consult with your doctor. But this movement, irrespective, is helpful at moving that fluid and increasing that circulation. Okay, severe osteoarthritis in knees, recommend use or no? Well, if we don't do something, it's not going to get better. Movement is critical, it's important, but moving in a way that it's not damaging is also important. And we've helped a great many people with knee issues, myself included. When we want to build up the supporting muscles and ligaments around the knee. As we build up the support mechanisms, we're able to retain more fluid and we take pressure off the joint. That's kind of what an artificial knee is doing. If you get a knee replacement, they're taking the pressure, opening up that joint so we have use of the knee. Well, if you don't want to have a knee replacement and you want to build up the supporting muscles and ligaments first, then Cellercise can go a long way in doing that. As we build up the supporting muscles and ligaments, we have better support, we get more fluid, more circulation through the knee. And so this gentle movement right here is a great way to warm it up. Rocking side to side is a great way to work the lateral knee, both sides of the knee, the hips, and you can move your shoulders a little bit for your back. It's great. Walking in place, that's the whole front part of the knee. And you can regulate the amount of weight you put on it by how far down you go or how high you stand. So it's under your control. All right. Okay, we did it. Okay, what time is it? It's 6:50. Let's give me a commercial for the next time, because it's important. And these have been great questions tonight, and I really appreciate being able to share the questions and the customer reviews for people. What I want to talk about the next time is what I call exercise, but or Cellercise, but it's not just physical. When we start off lifting weight, a person isn't going to go out there and automatically lift 300 pounds. It doesn't work that way. You build up to it. Well, it's the same thing with Cellercise. We start off gently, and then we increase the intensity, and we can continue to grow. And that's the physical. But there's a mental too. And the mental is exercise, but it's also, there's a detox. We understand the physical detox. And as we're moving up and down, we're breaking up heavy metals, that we can dislodge heavy metals, toxins, poisons, preservatives, chemicals, pesticides, herbicides, formaldehydes, drugs, plastics, etc. We were exposed to a lot. And as we're moving up and down, we can help release that. But there's something else that's important in that detox. And by the way, drink lots of water. Very important. And the other part of that is there's a physical, mental, a spiritual, and emotional detox as well that occurs. And I've seen it over the years. It happens on the Cellerciser. And we'll talk more about it. I'll give you a little bit now. When we're Cellercising, I don't know if you know much about meditation. Meditation is where you just kind of clear your mind. And you try to keep your mind clear. Think of it like an onion. An onion has many, many, many layers, right? Well, there are many, many, many layers of emotional challenges, emotional feelings that we've been exposed to, that we've held on to, that have affected our psyche and our well-being on many different levels. And we want to peel those away. We want to release that. So we have a detox, a physical detox, but the mental detox is when, for example, you think of the word Om, just a no-nonsense word, just get on the Cellerciser and you say Om, and you just keep thinking Om. You can even say it out loud or chant it. Om, just do the Om. And you try to focus on the Om for as long as you can. You will find out that as you're bouncing up and down, your brain, you're stimulated for 90% of brain activity. Something pops up into your mind and you're thinking about it. So you went from the Om to, whoa, I'm thinking about this thought. Very often in the detox moment, the thought is a negative thought. It's something that's bothering you. And as it comes to the surface, we have an opportunity to release it. You can't move on if you hold on. And these are some of the things I want to talk about next time, is how to release it so that we can move on, how to replace it, how we can not fight against that which is wrong, but promote that which is right. We've talked a little bit about this. Turn up the light so we can reach our greater emotional health as well, and we all have one. So we're less reactive to the negative conditions around us. We're more proactive to the positive conditions that are within us, that we can generate. And that is an exercise. It's not something we just do overnight. It's not like lifting 300 pounds. We start off with baby steps. I'll share with some of you, with those of you next time we do our program. We start off with baby steps and how we can release the negatives and promote the positives, and so that we become stronger in our character. And I may even use my son as an example, because he's emulated these things very well in his own personal life. So I want to thank all of you. We'll get together in a couple weeks. Please, if you feel that this has been of value to you, please share it with other people. we would love to encourage as many people to come and be a part of the Cellercise family as we can. We know that there are a great many of you that are being a difference and making a difference in the lives of those you care about. Thank you for that. Thank you for being such a difference in my life as well. It is a privilege and an honor to be able to share with you what I've learned, and look forward to sharing with you even more. We've got some exciting things lined up ahead. So watch for the Celly shoes this next few days, and we'll look at some other product support soon. You be well, be safe, happy St. Patrick's Day, and we'll see you in a couple weeks. Thanks.